It is that time for our rapid fire here. We're doing now with guests here, guys. So those y'all have been on with the NYG 22 yesterday and Bobby Skinner last week know this, but for those who haven't seen it yet, basically what we're going to do is Rob and I are going to go ahead and just list the player's name. Entertainah has to go ahead and has got 30 seconds to give his thoughts on that particular player. We're going to go back and forth rapid fire section here. So let's get into it here. Rapid fire. By the way,
that's me at training camp, by the way. That was me at training camp.
We got to find some better pictures for you because I was looking for pictures for you for this thing. I almost feel bad using these pictures. These are not the best pictures this man here. No, I did like the one. Did you see the thumbnail we made for the live show? I did like the one I found for that there. That was nice here with
That's me on a live stream. I was just making it.
It's fantastic.
All right. Rob, you start her off.
All right. Thoughts on Theo Johnson?
I'm excited about Theo Johnson. I've kind of been underwhelmed thus far what I've heard in training camp because I think Bobby actually tweeted it today. He said that Russell Wilson's only thrown like 3 or 4 balls since training camp started or something like that. But I'm excited about Theo Johnson, man. I think I think we started to see him get more of an expanded role in that offense last year, and then he got hurt. But it felt like to me that he was going to start to take off and have a pretty good second half for the Giants last year before the injury. And I think he could be what we were hoping Evan Ingram would become. I think he has the potential to be that. So I'm excited for Theo Johnson. I think he could have a big year for the Giants.
John Michael Schmitz.
Ugh. I'm about out on John Michael Schmitz. I was so happy when we drafted him because he felt like he was that plug and play center that we have not had in forever. And you're like, oh, now we don't got to worry about the left tackle. We don't got to worry about the center. Then we drafted Evan Neal the next year or whatever. No, the year prior, I think it was actually. We drafted Evan Neal. So at that point, you're like, oh, now we got 3 spots on the line sewed up long term. We've got a long term right tackle, left tackle, and center. And it was kumbaya for me. I'm like, oh my God, we're finally gonna have a long term offensive line. And so far, the only one that's panned out obviously has been Andrew Thomas, and even you worry about. We didn't talk about him too much during the podcast, but the injuries with him, is that going to continue to happen? Because we all know how important he is to this offense. If he gets hurt again this year, suddenly that becomes a pattern that you don't like to see. But obviously, we have trust in him. But JMS at this point, and I'm not closing the door because, as we said earlier in the pod about Jalen Hyatt, year 3 players could certainly take a big step up. Gets to play another year with the same offensive line coach. He's got both guards that he played with last year on either side of him. A little bit more continuity. We'll see how he does this year. But he's been incredibly underwhelming so far as a New York Giant. So I am at best lukewarm on JMS, and I'm not very confident. I think we probably will be drafting a long-term center or a potential long-term center in the not-too-distant future. I don't think he's long to be a New York Giant.
Woof.
I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
I got to pause to ask one question. Do you think we might already have that center in Marcus Bowe? Because I've heard that rumor.
Well, people have said, yeah, but he's never played it, I don't believe. But I remember.
Right.
A little, yeah. I know. Oh, did he? Okay. I know he played guard, and most people project in the NFL long term he'd be best suited to play guard. But I do remember reading that a lot of people felt like he could be a potential project at the center spot. That remains to be seen. We'll see. But maybe. If not, maybe we draft one next year or the year after that if JMS doesn't take that step up. What's discouraging to me with JMS, and why I guess I have a little bit less patience with him than I would for most third-year players, like I just said with Deonte Banks, I actually still believe he hasn't reached that level yet. He came into the league as a 25-year-old. He was an old rookie, right? Like you would think by year 2 he would kind of be hitting his stride already. Like, I don't know. And maybe he needs to be afforded a little bit more patience. But the fact he was an older rookie, and maybe it's just that I'm snake bitten with the offensive line, and I just think whatever's going to go wrong will go wrong. I have very little confidence in JMS going into this year. But again, I hope and pray he proves me wrong.
All right, talk about confidence builders. Let's talk about Singletary.
Singletary's like the forgotten man. Because I feel like Singletary's actually a pretty good running back. He played pretty well last year before Tracy got the opportunity and kind of took the bull by the horns. He's kind of like the forgotten man. By no means do I think he's an every down back, but he's a really nice piece to a platoon running back squad. And I think a lot of people forget about him. I think he is a good running back in the NFL. Not a guy you want running the ball 15 times a game, but a guy that you're happy if he's your RB3 that could give you 6 to 8 quality carries a game. So, yeah, I think he's one of the most forgotten players on this team. He's still a good, solid running back in the NFL. And we go back to depth. Think about that. Devin Singletary is our third best running back on this roster.
Yep.
Perfect. Yep.
Guy who consistently hit 800 yards rushing for how many years?
Yeah.
It's not a bad guy. I'm going to give you one of the Giants I keep hearing are very, very high on that I don't feel like other content creators talk enough about because of the fact that Giants seem very high on him. Darius Muasau.
Muasau, if I recall, actually had a really impressive training camp last year. I remember, right? Like he shined in training camp, and then of course we talked about it earlier. He had our only interception until like week 15 or whatever it was. Yet to be seen. You know, I've fallen for this trick before when the Giants have had. I can't even remember the guy's name. Who was the white linebacker like in like 2018 or 2019 that everybody loved? Like everybody was acting like he was the second coming of like Mike Singletary, and then he fell off the map the next year and he wasn't a Giant. I forgot his name.
Blake Martinez or
Martinez?
I know the kid from, was he with Wisconsin? He tore his ACL and then he went to the Vikings after that.
Yes, he was like a 4th or 5th round pick. Yes, and everybody was like, thought he was like the second. He was going to be the long-term answer to the linebacker. So we'll see, you know, with Muasau. But again, we go back to depth, right? That's certainly quality depth there for the Giants. At this point, that's what I feel he is. I don't think he's a starter, but good change.
Was it Ryan Conley?
Right. Ryan Conley. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah,
I know, I'm Googling it. Google hit the nail on the head, not me, for the record. So, but we did have it in the comments here, but who knows if he Googled it as well? Who knows?
You guys are cheating at your trivia.
This is why I have 3 screens up at all times. You never know what's going to pop up.
All right. Wan'Dale Robinson.
I was so excited about him last year. Going into last year, everybody was hyping him up. I remember CeeDee Lamb saying he was one of the most talented receivers in the league going into last year. And I was getting pumped up. I'm like, oh, wow, Malik Nabors on the other side. I still like him, but I actually think of the receivers this year that he's like the forgotten man. A lot of Giants fans were flipping out when we extended him. I've never been in love with Darius Slayton. He's always been a quality New York Giant. But everybody's talking about Hyatt, not just you guys. A lot of Giants fans are talking about Hyatt because of his speed and the fact that he was a relatively high draft pick and a guy that a lot of Giants fans had high expectations for. And they seem to think he could take the step up this year. People mention Wan'Dale, and I like Wan'Dale, and I think in the right role this year he could be productive for the New York Giants. But I'm going to tell you what, the guy I got my eye on this year that I think could have a big year is Darius Slayton. We talk about all the limitations on this roster. Darius Slayton has had Daniel Jones his entire career. Now he gets to play opposite Malik Nabors, second year in the NFL. They gave him a contract for a reason. He's going to be a part of this offense. And I think he's a good vertical deep threat. I think we could all agree on that. He's good at high pointing the ball. I think Darius Slayton could be in for a career year with the New York Giants, approaching 1,000 yards this year if he could stay healthy. So that's the guy I'm most excited about outside of course, Malik Nabors in this wide receiving corps. But I like Wan'Dale. But I don't think, unfortunately, he'll ever be more than a possibly slightly better version of a Cole Beasley, which isn't a bad thing. But I don't think he'll ever be anything more than that.
Tyler Nubin.
I'm excited about Tyler Nubin. Another guy like Theo Johnson last year who felt like he was starting to hit his stride, then he got kind of hurt late in the year. Ball hawk coming out, right? We talk about how this team lacked interceptions last year. He's a guy that you would hope and think could replace that Xavier McKinney role of being that guy that could get you 5 to 6 interceptions. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had 5, 6 picks. Maybe it was 4 or 5 picks. His last year at Minnesota, that's what he was known for. A guy that was, good at making plays on the football. So he's a guy I'm really excited about for the Giants a year or two. I think he could have maybe the highest ascension on that defense this year in terms of growth.
And I was going to give one more to Rob, but he's apparently having some
Rob
internet issues.
had to go hang out with the 4-year-old. I get it.
Yeah. And it was 5 interceptions his last year at Minnesota for the year prior to that.
Yeah.
So he had 9 or 2 seasons. Yeah, that's not too shabby. All right. I'm going to give you one last guy then. And I'm kind of curious to your thoughts on this guy, because I feel like he's kind of had a little bit of a bum rap here in what's the Giants have done. I think they kind of Josh has him well a little bit there by giving him too much. Nacho.
Quality depth, same thing there. Quality depth at a position where we need it, because outside of Dexter Lawrence, we don't have it. I don't view him as a starter. I would still like and hopefully that's what Alexander becomes. I don't think we have a quality starter at that position right now, but I think he is quality depth, which again goes back to what I've talked about throughout this podcast. The Giants have a lot of good depth, at least for the Giants in recent history. The team is certainly much deeper than it's been in a long time, and he's a part of that. He's quality depth.
Yeah, I've always felt like we just put him into a role that he wasn't suited for. He's a backup guy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, we got Rob back. Let's see. Okay.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey.
Where you had to have at least one more rapid fire. Did you have one more before you left?
Yeah.
One more rapid fire. Ooh.
I'm gonna tell you, and I this is boring, I guess, because I say it all the time. The most overlooked, biggest X factor on this team this year for me, undeniably, is Graham Gano. It's Graham Gano.
Ooh,
When
he
you
was yesterday.
When you think back to the year that the Giants made the playoffs in 2022, we won all those close games. Without Graham Gano, that team wins 5 or 6 games. And you think back, because he was money from 55, 56 yards when he was healthy. The last 2 years, he's been hurt. And if they had that version of Graham Gano the last 2 years, we wouldn't have made the playoffs, but we probably win 2 or 3 extra games because of how close and tight these games are. If the Giants want to surprise this year and win 8 or 9 games, nobody ever talks about the kicker because he's boring. But we need the 2021 and 2022 version of Graham Gano if this team's going to surprise. So that's one of my biggest X factors this year is the kicker.
I just wonder what's going to happen. I've said plenty of times in the show, I'm not so sure he's our kicker this year.
I don't think so.
I was stunned.
He may start.
I was stunned that the Giants didn't draft a kicker, or at least bring in one in free agency relatively early to compete with him because of his contract and because of his recent injury history.
Yeah, Jude does not count point blank, because let's be honest, the kid lost his job at Rutgers as a kicker. The only reason he's on the roster is because he's an international player. He doesn't count as a roster spot.
Oh, what was it? Platt Scummer? Remember him? He was the international running back that always made the roster.
Exactly. People are always like, "Oh, don't give up on Jude." I'm like, Jude, what? This kid couldn't hold his job at Rutgers. He's going to win the starting job for the Giants. He can't even get the job at Rutgers.
Yeah,
he's on the roster because
Jersey pride.
Like I said, it all depends, I think, on what happens, who gets cut, and who becomes available, and stuff like that, and how Gano looks. And it's a shame, but I think he's just kind of winding down to the end. Is basically what's going on with him. And I have a lot of respect.
He was great for a couple of years.
When we started the show in 2002, one of the very first episodes we had, we talked about who we thought was the best Giant on the roster, and literally we were like, it might be Graham Gano.
He was so important to that team that year. I mean, because like I just said, every win that we had was within like 3-4 points, and he was knocking down 54, 55-yard field goals every week. So he was so important to that team.
Yeah, like I said, and for the record, we never put the blame on him for what's happened with the injuries. That's on Joe Shane and Brian Dable point blank for not protecting themselves against his injuries, especially this last year. Point blank, that is not going Gano. Because I've heard people say that. Don't blame Gano for their stupidity. That's not his fault.
Especially, like you said, the second time around.
Yeah.
For them not to be more prepared the second time around was indefensible.
People are yelling like, why did he go after the player? Why did he do something that's been instinctive for him for most of his life?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
For playing the game.
You have a problem with that. Don't complain about Banks then.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Like, that's a good point.
That's where it's at. Like I said, I respect the man. I just think it might be time. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love for him to get another year and have the Giants do something good this year and go out on a higher note. That's for sure. But again, it depends, I think, on who becomes available. So Let's see here. We got a couple more comments here real quick we'll go to before we head on out here because they're directed towards you, Tana. So
is it good?
Hunter, Tana, you need to go live on the channel more.
I will be, Hunter. Now that the football season is here, I'll be doing the live stream for the first preseason game. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will be going live. I mean, obviously, I do the joint channel now with Bad Dog twice a week, but I will be going live on my channel in season. Obviously, I don't do this full time like I used to anymore, but certainly in season. Don't expect me there every day, like Bobby, who does this full time. But I'll certainly be hanging out with you guys, relatively regularly on the channel. I'm looking forward to talking Giants this year with you guys.
Yeah, Bobby's definitely
awesome.
hanging out at the training camp right now with a school bus.
It's like that's what Madden used to do, right? He used to go around in the Madden bus, right?
Yeah, that was legendary. Absolutely.
By the way, did you see they're making a John Madden movie?
Yes, and who is playing him? I forget.
Nicolas Cage is playing John Madden.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really perfect because Nicolas Cage is the ultimate over actor. Let's be honest.
I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan. He's like either the type of guy that you love or hate, but yeah. I fully admit that he overacts. Like that's his MO. But he is perfect for John Madden. I think it's gonna be.
Oh yeah. You see,
yeah. What'd you say?
You watch Renfield?
Renfield, no.
You got to watch that. He plays Dracula.
Oh, the Dracula movie. Yeah, I saw the trailers for it. I didn't see it though. Yeah.
First off, the trailers were the best parts. It's one of those movies that I'll tell you that up front. But it's worth it just for his overacting as Dracula. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's spectacular. It's what was
the one he did with Pablo Pascal relatively recently?
Oh. Was it the one where he's playing himself?
He plays himself. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was really funny in that. I thought that movie was really funny. Nicolas Cage.
Does he overact as himself overacting? Like that's just like
probably.
That was part of it. Yeah. Yeah. That's where that meme comes from, where you just see like Nicolas Cage looking over, he's driving, and Pedro Pascal's like,
yeah.
Let's see. R0B, I'm going to say Evan Neal will be an unsung hero this season, and the O-line starts looking good. I'll be very happy if that happens.
I hope you're right, Rob. I really do, and I'm not ruling it out. We've talked about Eric Flowers throughout the pod. He actually became a good guard. The Giants were too stubborn to try it out. Hopefully it works out with Evan Neal. What I'll say about the offensive line, I don't know if I'm going to use the term good for the offensive line this year, but if Andrew Thomas stays healthy, which at this point is a major if because he has not been able to stay healthy in recent years, I think they will have a satisfactory offensive line, which is a big step up. Yeah, maybe slightly below average, but that's still a huge step up from what it's been in years past because the offensive line last year, when Andrew Thomas was healthy, which wasn't for very long, was okay. And I think it could be that again this year. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the first serviceable offensive line we had in almost 10 years.
Yeah,
you can't go from a pile of poop to gold. Like there's got to be stages.
Yeah,
there's got to be stages.
And Drew and I have talked about this ad nauseum at this point. Like when you're ranked number 30 for so long, top 31 in the NFL is where we stood for a long time.
Top 31.
Yeah. To go to the top, 17 is a big jump. Like we joke around about it, but it's a big jump. So like
if the Giants have an average
terrible to just below average, it's a really good
line this year, guys. The Giants might make the playoffs.
Playoffs.
I'm not.
Game.
I'm not saying they're going to have an average offensive line. I'm not saying I'm predicting it. Playoffs. But this Giants defense is, I think, legit. I'm not saying they are the best defense in the league, but I don't think it's far-fetched to think this could be a top 7-8 defense in the league. Like, I think they are a legit defense. If the Giants could have an average offensive line, I don't think it's crazy to think this team could win 8 or 9 games. I just don't necessarily think they'll have an average offensive line.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, but once again, if they're ranked at like 17, 18, which is probably like where they could be with Thomas healthy, like once again.
But can we trust Thomas to be healthy?
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. You think about it. You think about the year we actually made the playoffs and had a good year in 2022. The one we talked about how Graham Gano was important to that team. The other thing, when you think about it, that was the one year where we had no key injuries. Andrew Thomas stayed healthy the entire year. Saquon Barkley stayed healthy the entire year. Daniel Jones stayed healthy the entire year. We had no key injuries that year. All of our key players stayed healthy. If we get breaks like that, the team could surprise. I mean, that in itself in the NFL is lucky when your best players don't get hurt. So that's a big part of it too, staying healthy.
Yeah, definitely. Deb says, good show tonight, guys. Love listening to Tana. Just subscribed on YouTube. There we go. We got you a subscriber. And we need our help.
Well, thank you for tuning in, Deb. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's been with us forever, so she's good people.
She's an OG.
Yeah, I feel like she has been with us since like the first the first couple.
How long you guys been doing this podcast now?
So we started
3 years,
22. So we're gonna have our.
Well, that's why you said that earlier. 2022 was your first year,
and then we didn't start doing videos though. We were all audio only until like at the end of the 22 season. So we missed the one good season that we were doing this for, basically for videos. So we were stupid. We didn't realize we should be doing videos. So you know there's a learning curve when you're first starting. Let's be honest. There's always a learning curve. I always tell people, whoever wants to be a content creator, do podcasting. If you want the one word advice, always be improving.
I never did the podcast. I always only did the YouTube, which I probably should have done the podcast with the YouTube, but I always only did the YouTube.
You still can do the podcast, actually. All you do is take the audio from StreamYard, download it into like a Spotify for creators or whatever, and you make yourself one real quick, nice and simple.
I've thought about doing that in the past, is doing a separate podcast from YouTube too, like doing like a hour podcast. I've thought of it. I might end up doing it in the future. We'll see. Part of me wants to kind of do like a podcast where it's everything though, not just sports, like talk about movies, it's something that I've wanted to do for a while. I just haven't put it together yet.
There we go.
Yeah.
Got a whole Tana network here of shows.
You're right. Tana history, Tana movies, Tana sports.
There we go. Tana
trivia.
Tana trivia. I like that.
Oh, look like YouTube trivia, like a live pub trivia. There we go.
Those are big now.
I do it all the time.
Those are huge. Yeah.
I do a lot of Tuesday nights. I got a group of friends we go with and do it like maybe once or twice a month.
So that's how you knew about the question about the Marlins in 1990.
No, I didn't actually. I know that because I live in the Tampa area and I heard it somewhere because John was here. So, like I said, I literally drive by the Bucks facility every single day because I'm on my way to work. So it's.
I'll give you a quick football trivia. Who is the first player in NFL history to have 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing in the same season?
First guy. See, in my head, I know I want to give an answer that's probably wrong, but I'm going to throw it out there because I'm trying to think old school guys who could be it, and Marshall Faulk is who I'm thinking in my head.
He did it. He did do it. He was not the first one, but he did do it. He's one of like 3 backs that have ever done it. So he did do it. So good call there. Roger Craig of the San Francisco 49ers in the West Coast offense did it. Yeah, with Bill Walsh.
Yeah. I like I said, I had a feeling that Marshall Faulk was not the first to do it. I knew he did it, so I was trying to think in my head. Yeah. People forget about him.
Marshall Faulk was the best player on that team. Oh, Roger Craig. Yeah. I mean, well, of course.
Kind of forgot about him.
Yeah, Joe Montana. It's hard, there's a lot of players.
I get it. But listen, we still remember Carl Banks.
We do. He should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Yes, 100%. Listen, we can do a whole episode on people who should be in the Hall of Fame of the Giants. We've talked about that very much. I bang the drums every single time for Jimmy Patton, 5-time all-pro safety, never even.
What about Eli Manning? What the hell was that?
Yeah, well, he should be. Coughlin?
Well, they should go in together. They should go in together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping. Listen, this is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping the two of them do get together next year. We get the the Hall of Fame game, which of course was going on tonight, and then we get to go have like a great experience in Canton, and Rob and I maybe do a live show from there, and who knows, maybe we kidnap Eli and put him on the show or something. Who knows? You never know. Nowadays with this stuff, I'm waiting for someone who's going to be the content creator who's going to go to a Giants event and just start interviewing people live on camera. Like, it's going to happen at some point. Someone's going to do it.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened, to be honest.
I really am too, because like even a couple of years ago, I went to the Giants game in Jacksonville, and Carl Banks was doing his post-game cigar outside, and I couldn't believe no one's like flocking to this guy. I'm like, it's freaking Carl Banks. The goddamn guy should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, so I go up and start talking to him and everything, introduce myself, and I'm thinking like, goddamn, if I had a mic right now with me.
The one thing I'll say about the Giants, at least from what I've experienced since I've been doing this, they seem to not be as open. They seem to be more open now to non-mainstream media content creators. I know they did like that. I saw it on Twitter, even though I've never heard of any of the people. They did some kind of promotion for content creators.
We did a whole rant on that.
Yeah, but at least that's something. But I see a lot of other people that cover teams on YouTube, and those organizations are much more open to non-traditional media. The Giants are more old school when it comes to that. They don't seem to be as open to people like us.
So, and that's what we said, because they didn't, because to me, in our eyes, they should have gotten you and Bad Dog and Bobby Skinner and people like that. At least, like Rob and I, we don't try to front and make her seem like we're the guys who get the most views, most likes, most subscribers like that. We have our space, but you guys, point blank, should have been the guys invited at that point. Oh, along with the guys they invited, you could have done both the people that are the typical content creators.
I honestly, I didn't even know who those people were. Did they even do Giant stuff? I honestly don't know.
We don't. The only one that I know is Eli Mack, who does content work with Madden, but he happens to be a big Giants fan. And the only reason I really know him, to be very frank, is because if you know Sneaky G, he goes on his show quite often as well. I met him a couple times on there, and a really nice guy. And like as I said, I don't want to be the guy hating on these guys for getting that opportunity. That's cool. I'm excited for them. But the Giants should have gone ahead and invited some actual, Giant content creators as well and shown the love in that respect as well.
Yeah, I was surprised. Not that I wasn't invited, because I don't really do this full time anymore, but I was surprised when I saw the names that I didn't recognize any of them. Like you said, Bobby would have been the first name you would have thought of, or even Justin, right? Or
I think it's a lack of trust.
Yeah,
they're working one of us.
Bobby had something. He did something, right? That pissed off the Giants last year. I forgot what it was. He did something.
When he was on the old show, they did an episode on Joe Shane, and was it Pat Hanlon who called him up? Somebody called him up. I forget.
I think it was Pat Hanlon.
But they called him up, Woody, and told him to take the episode down, and then never help him again. Now I know also, and I don't want to throw names out there.
And I actually agree. I disagreed with Bobby on that point, which was an unpopular opinion at that point in time. I think 90% of Giants fans were in agreement with Bobby, but it's ridiculous for the Giants to try to block him from talking about the football team. It's ridiculous.
First off, anybody who knows Bobby, and actually gets a chance to talk to him off, the show and stuff like that, who he is on the show is who he is in person.
Oh yeah.
Like
I've gotten to hang out with Bobby several times. He's exactly who he is on the show.
Exactly. He is what he seems like. And he's that guy that if you tell him he can't do something, guess what?
He's going to want to do it more.
Go ahead and do it more. And he's going to tell every single person and their mother that you told them not to do it as well in the process.
I was supposed to say, didn't he go live right after?
He did. And kudos to him on that, because he should have, because the Giants don't do anything for content creators. Not that they owe us anything major by any stretch of the imagination. But I know, like, even on Giants Rush, they've talked about it, where they've said that they were told by players that the team told them point blank not to go on shows.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really tried to reach out to. I've gotten some ex-players there. I've had Carl on my channel. I've had Lawrence Tynes on my channel. I've had, no, I don't think I've ever had any current players on the.
Maybe had a couple of current on there. That I don't know who does their booking, the Giants Rush show, but they get some good.
They do. They get some. Yeah, they get some good people.
You had Mike and McFadden on a note not too long ago, a couple months ago.
A couple of times I've seen.
Yeah. So he does it, but like I said, the Giants they've said on their show point blank that the Giants have told the players not to go on their show.
I get that in season. I could understand that in season, but in the off season, I feel like let them go on the fans' channels. I don't agree with that.
I can understand wanting protection. I can understand saying don't go live, get the right to edit anything out or stuff like that. Like you could do that kind of stuff. And I've said before on our show, we would have no problem doing that with a player. We would just announce point blank that this is what we're doing by asking, because I don't want to be like fake and make it seem like we're hiding things either. You know what I mean? But I can understand wanting stipulations, because you are putting when you're an NFL player, it's a multi-million-dollar brand. I get that part of it.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful because someone says the wrong thing and you're on camera with them saying the wrong damn thing.
Especially in New York. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because the newspapers could run with it, right? So I get it, but I feel like they should do a better job with content creators. But
Exactly.
hey, I'm not
Maybe
doing
one
that.
Maybe
Yeah.
one day.
Both sides are right.
It's one of the many ways that the Giants are very old school, and we appreciate the tradition, the history of the team. Obviously, we're fans, but you also got to roll with the times.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You can do both. So
Rob says, are we excited about Hard Knocks again this season? Me personally, no. Me personally, no. I don't. I was at first excited when they did the Hard Knocks, the way that the Giants did it last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was, because it was an interesting format. It wasn't like the traditional Hard Knocks where you just get to see the players behind the scenes. You actually got to see the inner workings of a football team. But the taste it left in my mouth after the fact, there's almost nothing good that's going to come from it. Only bad. It's almost like getting to see the way a hot dog is made. You don't want to see after the fact. I just want to eat the hot dog.
I do like.
So that's how I felt with the Hard Knocks.
My biggest concern is with the Hard Knocks thing is we've talked about it multiple times where we think everybody's having a discussion right now is when would Dart start playing football, because barring anything crazy miraculous like a big playoff run at the end of the season, you're probably going to see him the last couple games.
I think that's the plan. I think that's the plan. And I think if they're smart guys, the plan with Dart should be not to throw him in there until like the last 4 or 5 games, because that also preserves Shane and Dable's job. If you throw him in there week 3, week 4, we saw what happened to Pat Shermer when they threw Daniel Jones in after just 2 weeks. If the team's playing really bad, what hope do you have to sell the owner? He just got to see a full year of that quarterback. Team didn't play well. If you only show a sprinkle of Jaxson Dart at the end of the year, which I think is clearly the plan. They didn't sign Russell Wilson for him to play 1 game and bench him. I think that's the smart approach for Shane and Dable. I think it almost guarantees that they come back next year outside of something catastrophic like we talked about earlier, like if they have the first pick. But if the team has the 5th or 6th pick and Dart looks even okay the last 3 or 4 weeks and you feel like there's something to build on going into next year, I think that's a great I wouldn't say a great job, because you're not happy if you have the 5th or 6th pick as a fan, but a great job security for Shane and Dable if that scenario plays out. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
But my concern is, like we've said all along, I think the best time to bring him in would be right after the bye week. You got a couple weeks left over. You give him the bye week to prepare. And here's the problem. That's Hard Knocks.
I don't like that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Hard Knocks, I believe, is in December. So that puts you square in the middle of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I don't like that. I was actually focused on the play. Yeah.
I don't like that part. And that's what's got me most bummed about this whole Hard Knocks thing. What I am hoping for is that the Cowboys completely fall apart this year, as I fully expect, and then you get to see Jerry Jones like having a tantrum on Hard Knocks. That would be spectacular.
That would be great.
That would be spectacular.
Ideally for me, though, Jaxson Dart doesn't see the field this year, because if he doesn't see the field, it means the Giants likely make the playoffs.
Damn straight.
That's ideal for me. As much as I want to see him, and I'm excited to see him, I could wait a year.
Patrick Mahomes kind of rookie year, like you see him maybe the last game and that's it.
Yeah. And then show me him next year. See what we got next year. I think what the Giants are going to do next year, assuming Shane and Dable are back, which obviously I'm assuming right now, I think they're going to do a reverse of what they did in free agency. This year in free agency, they went heavy defense, right? They went corner, they went safety. They drafted an edge early in the draft. I think it's going to be, it only makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, Joe Shane's job, he's going to live and die with Jaxson Dart. I think next offseason, they go balls to the wall on the offensive side of the ball. I think they sign a high-end wide receiver. I think they draft the right tackle probably in the first round. I think they do everything they can to sew up that offense next year and give Jaxson Dart as good of a chance as they possibly can for him to succeed going into a sophomore season. I think that's going to be the plan.
Yeah, I know. That would definitely make sense. You got to set him up for success. Don't set him up.
That's what it feels like they're doing that, right? They're giving him a buffer. They're not rushing him in week 1. It feels at least like they're handling it. Yeah, multiple buffers. Yeah.
Multiple buffers. I love that. I love that they did that. I said all along, what I think they're going to do with DeVito is try to get him on the practice squad, and then let's say, God forbid, Russell Wilson gets hurt, and you got to throw, Jameis Winston out there, you can call DeVito up to the backup, and you don't got to worry about forcing Dart where he's not ready. Assuming, DeVito makes it through the waivers and all that kind of stuff and decides to come back to our practice squad. But
we all heard the audio that Dart said. I think it came out after we drafted him, but there was audio that Dart said that his ideal mentor would be Jameis Winston.
Yes,
and I'm sure the Giants took that into account when they went out to get Jameis Winston. So yes,
who is just primed and ready for that Fox Sports.
Oh, that's 100% has a lot to do with why he wanted to come here in the first place.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
I still love. I still love that TikTok that for him that goes around every so often where he learns about gabagool. It's a gabagool. Oh my God! Listen, if you can't root for that man, who could you root for? Seriously.
Oh, he's impossible not to root for.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like I said, we wanted him last year. I'm very excited we got him. I wanted him last year. Like
I would have been fine if we didn't get Russ and we just got him and we went with him and a rookie quarterback. I would have been fine with it.
We have said the same thing on the show.
Banging that drum so much.
Yep, exactly.
Give me Winston. Give me Winston.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
If you like that clip,
then you will love the full episodes too.
Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.